There are lots of things from our childhood that we just loved doing that are really good indicators of the things that God put in us, that are natural giftings and skills, and this is the way he wired us for more than just, you like to be creative because it's fun, I like to sing because it's fun. There's more to how he made us than just it's fun. That's a big piece of it, and that's a very important piece of it. But there's something that he's then asking us to offer to the world, and if we let it stay buried under all this other stuff, then we can't offer it because it's buried. So we got to excavate.
Please just hold your breath. Every door looks better when you keep it closed. Keep your head down and don't watch your step. No point in even trying now, just let it go. Maybe they will write the same for me. Maybe this was really just a dream. Don't wanna take that risk and try to see. A 9 to 5 will bring security, I'm sure, but I can guarantee you that's no way to live. Way to live. Promise that's no way to live. Way to live.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Prodigal Peas in a Pod.
Hi.
I'm Denise Acosta.
Oh, sorry, I got really excited.
That's all right. Jump in.
I'm Brooke Ackerman.
Hi, and we are going to talk about all the wonderful memories from back in the day, all those things that make you say, remember the good old days. One of the things that always comes to mind to me for these things is I used to have this red Honda Civic 2-door, and it was a stick shift. I had my windows tinted, and all my guy friends were always into fixing up their cars and doing all that stuff. So I'm part of the group, so they would help me out too. But it was a whole scene that we would have. And so then the music that was happening, and not every one of us had cars back then, right? Like when you're young, not all your friends are going to have cars, but I did have one. And so my favorite thing was driving, didn't matter where, but just by myself with music, windows down, sunroof open, always getting all the dust and pollen in my face. I didn't care. I was happy. And I'm just screaming my songs like all the way from afternoon to sunset. And it's one of my favorite memories. And I can even remember some of those songs that I would listen to and I'd be like, oh, I remember that. Those were the good days when you didn't have like bills and rent and stuff to worry about.
When other people were providing for all of your real needs and you just got to do the fun stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I still had a job, but I mean, I was still living at mom's house.
Absolutely.
So, I didn't need all that. But what about you?
Isn't it interesting how music is really, that can really take, I feel like you ask anybody and there's certain songs, there's a certain time period.
Travel.
Yes. And you're right back. Yeah. Because one of the things, when you said a red Honda Civic, my brother had a red Toyota pickup truck. And I remember the two of us riding around in it one summer in particular, blasting Tom Petty, his Wildflowers album. And to this day, there are certain days when the temperature is a certain temperature, it's sunny, and I will just play Tom Petty, and I am back, windows down. We had our little circle shade because it was, we're older than you, so it was a different time period. But yeah, our little circle shades, windows down, blasting Tom Petty and singing every word to every song on that album. Yeah, so fun. Again, had jobs, but didn't have to really be too responsible for much of anything.
No, and gas was like $1. You try doing that nowadays, your gas tank is empty before your head is. You're driving around to clear your thoughts. No, you can clear that gas tank before your mind
sound
is.
So old right now. Remember when gas was $1 and you could go to the movies for a nickel and milk was 10 cents? Like,
I mean, I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm.
What are some other things? Music is always the trigger for me. Some TV shows, sure, because I remember that I watched them, but they don't really transport me like that. Yeah. Music for sure. Like even 90s and early 2000s, that's like big hub for all the music that I just had so much fun with. And even Spanish music, the salsa music back then. We always hear, oh, they don't make music like they used to. Man, they don't. Those songs were so fire. We would just blast it from our car and just be dancing in the parking lot if that's what we're hanging out at. And it was just such a good time.
Such a good story, Grandma. Tell me another one.
Yeah.
I feel like you're like shaking your cane at the kids. Get off my
Get
lawn.
off my
Like,
lawn. Have you seen that meme? It's like a picture of 9 different Clint Eastwood faces, and it's which Clint Eastwood are you today?
he just looks angry in all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very Clint Eastwood of him. Yeah. Another thing that, like, music definitely takes me back, but there are certain smells. Supposedly, smell is the strongest thing that ties any of us back to something.
Yeah.
But there are certain meals that, even if I'm cooking them and I'm the one in the kitchen doing it, but the smell of that, I am right now back in my grandmother's kitchen immediately. And what's fun is that I have the table that she had in her house, in her kitchen. I have that table now. Aww. So I get to cook the food that she cooked and then serve it on her table, but in my farmhouse, because it used to be in her farmhouse.
Yeah.
And that's just so fun.
Oh.
Yeah, but there are certain smells. My brother one time, I don't even remember what the thing was, but he's like, close your eyes and smell this. And if you have an older brother, that can be dangerous. But thankfully, my older brother is he's a good guy. He's very kind. And I was like, I'm a little nervous. He goes, just do it. I was like, okay. So I closed my eyes and I don't even know what it was that he put up to my nose, but the smell of it was 2 things. There was this tunnel that we had when we were little kids. It was like collapsible, but it was like a plasticky, and I don't know, it was almost like a slinky, but it was a tunnel. And we were really little, and we would just crawl through it, and it was probably like 3 or 4 feet, but you're that little that it's playing in a tunnel. But then Halloween costumes when I was a kid were just awful. They didn't look at all like the character.
The plastic face.
Yes, with the elastic string. And then the like whatever you wore on your body often wasn't even like the outfit that the character was wearing. They were so strange, but they had these little slits for eyes and a little tiny slit for your mouth. And it was just so hard to breathe. I don't know how these things passed any sort of safety tests.
Honestly, they're scarier than anything that can be made today.
I know. They're weird looking.
They really are.
But that was the smell. And again, immediately I was back to elementary school and the masking, because we always had a Halloween parade through town. Aww. The marching band from the high school would come up and lead us through town. We would do a little Halloween parade.
That's so sweet.
They still do it.
Do they really?
Yes, because my brother's the principal of the elementary school. Aww. So he's like, we're bringing it back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. It was so fun. But yeah, there are certain smells that I'm like, and I'm back to either this place or this age or, yeah.
Yeah. People have smells too.
Yes. You might want to
hang in there, guys.
You might want to elaborate. Otherwise, this episode got real weird.
When we were in Peru, I think the first time as a missions team, I got to eat what the kids eat. Whereas every time before, it's whatever Santusa would make me or whatever Jaime was doing at home. And it was always something just more like contemporary, what you would typically see. But what they were giving the kids was like stuff that mom would make for us growing up. And I just, oh my gosh, it just completely, again, like you said, just transported me. And I'm like, this is wonderful. And then you have my family over in Cajamarca and Celentín, which is like far more rural area compared to Lima, the capital. But like farmers, you have that smell on you. I could not describe it, but when I smell, I'm like, oh, my family, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then certain sounds, the way you speak, the way that a Peruvian from a rural town is going to speak Spanish is a lot slower than what you would hear in Lima, the capital.
Oh, maybe that's where I need to go. I need to go there and learn Spanish.
So there's like a cadence, right? And so it's, oh yeah, you sound like my uncle. When I'm meeting people, I'm like, oh, it just feels like home, even though I don't even know who these people are. Yeah. And so, yeah, smells.
No, I know what you mean, because if you go into different people's houses, everybody's house has a certain aroma. And it's not that it's a bad thing. Often it'll smell like food or it'll smell like laundry detergent. And Todd, who I've mentioned a couple of different episodes now, he will often give John shirts or jackets or something that he's just not wearing anymore. And John will come home from meeting him for lunch or whatever. And he's like, I got another shirt or jacket or whatever. And I was like, does it smell like Todd? And he's like, yep. And as soon as I smell it, I'm like, yeah, that's what their house smells like. And it's like a fresh laundry smell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good smell. But that smell is Todd and Sarah. That's their house. That's that smell.
Yeah. I love that. I think when all of that gets combined and put together. If I have time to sit in like where I start the nostalgia, the reminiscing, then I do feel like I'm there. And then I'm like, don't pop my bubble yet. Like, I'm in my little red car right now.
Yeah, you just want to stay there.
I can feel the wind in my hair. Driving to anywhere for no reason at all.
I know. I remember doing that as a teenager. It was just fun to get in the car and drive to nowhere in particular.
Yeah. We were ridiculous. We'd be out clubbing all night. You finish at 2 or 3.
Oh my gosh.
We'd go and get pizza before going home. And then I remember sometimes we'd be like, hey, you want to go to the beach and watch the sunrise? And we'd be like, all right. And we would just drive from there. We were crazy. But I loved that stuff.
How far of a drive was that?
3 hours.
Oh,
well, we were in D.C., so it was a little bit less because the clubbing was in D.C., so probably 2-ish hours.
Still. I wasn't,
kids.
First of all, I wasn't staying anywhere till 2 a.m. unless it was my bed. I would stay in my bed.
So
and then after that, no, I'm not driving I will be asleep.
No, we had a great time.
I'm sure you
We had
did.
our pizza, and then we're just laying out, and then we'd fall asleep, obviously, because we had to sleep at some point. We'd crash out.
Yeah.
And then we'd start driving back after.
Oh my goodness.
It was wild. Wild and crazy kids.
I'd say.
So the whole thing on it's not just the memory, it's how you felt in that version of yourself. I know that like early 20s, because you don't have those responsibilities, you don't have this pressure you have to be somewhere in life at that point. Everybody is finding their way, figuring out what they're doing. Maybe they're going to college, maybe they're working, whatever it is, but everyone is in that stage. So there's no set expectations for what you need to do. And I just remember my friends that I had, it was always so peaceful for me to be with them because nobody's upset at you for the way that you are, for saying something the way that you said it, for wearing whatever you decided to wear. Like none of those things mattered in that time. And I definitely felt like I was very accepted in a lot of those circles. And so it was like a way for me to thrive. And so it's just something that like you kind of think back on and remember that's the kind of space that it was.
There are times when I look back at high school, college, there were certain things that I felt more confident about myself at that time than I do now. And then there are things that I was really not at all okay with about myself that now I feel more confident in. I think it's just really interesting how some of the stuff that I felt really confident about when I was younger, what happened to that? Why do I not feel that anymore? And I've tried sometimes to think about what situation has now changed my perception, or what relationship did whatever so that I don't know if it's a wound that it caused or something. You know what I mean? I don't really know what the change is, but there are some things that I want to somehow go back and capture that confidence and bring it back to present day. Because the things that I'm confident about now, I don't want to give those up.
Right.
But some of those other things.
Not take away.
Right. I don't really know what happened. I used to be probably too much. It's probably good that it toned down, but then I feel like I went too far. I used to be really outspoken, like very direct. I know people who think I'm direct now are probably like, oh, I'm glad I didn't know you then, because you probably just came off as offensive. And I don't know, maybe I did, but I feel like I was far more comfortable with just saying the thing that was on my mind, and not in a rude way, not to try to offend people, but it was just, like I said, it might be good that it got a little toned down, but then I feel like I went too far. And we've talked about the overthinking and the needing to craft something so that it's worded perfectly. And I feel like some of that is, I do have a better sense of taking good care of the other person on the other side of the conversation. But I also think it went too far. And so how do I come back to center rather than be too direct, but now overthink too many things? And I want to come back more toward just say it. You don't have to, well, what if they think, and how do if I think of the right words, and maybe if I say it this way. And yeah, so I wonder what that's about.
Just say what's on your mind, Brooke. But not everything was sunshine and rainbows.
Oh, no. Oh, yes.
The same times that I'm talking about where, I'm like so accepted here in these spaces. There's still a large area of space that I was not. right?
Yes.
And then there's other things going on in life that were traumatic. And so it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, but there's those little pockets. And so we do have to be careful with that.
Yes. I was saying, and that's the thing about nostalgia is we can look back at all of the sunshine and rainbow moments
Right.
and gloss over or just completely block out the stuff that we don't want to think about. I don't want to think about that part of my story. I don't want to remember that thing that occurred. So I'm just going to think about driving with my brother in his truck and listening to Tom Petty. It was great.
That does sound pretty great, though.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we definitely have to be careful with nostalgia because it's looking back at the good old days. Everybody thinks that when they were younger, that it's better than current present day. Everybody does.
Yeah.
In some regard, because things were simpler, kids were more respectful, or this wasn't terrible and that was so great. But it's because we gloss over so much.
Yeah. I feel like there's also that sense of security that you start feeling when you're diving into those memories and getting yourself back into that space. But it's a false one because it's not complete.
Yeah.
And I think when I start to think about all that stuff, I have to remind myself of that too. Oh, yeah, that was such a great time. And that's cool. We can go back and listen to that song and jam out again and have those memories and laugh about it. But we don't live there. And if we're trying to camp out there, then let's recognize that not everything was sunshine and rainbows then too.
Yeah. But there is something that can be very comforting. And again, this is all, you got to keep things in balance. We've got to have a healthy respect and a healthy perspective of all of it. But yeah, I think it can feel very comforting because we can go back to a time when we didn't have as many worries. We didn't have as many responsibilities. And like when you rewatch a movie or reread a book, it's familiar. It's why little kids want to read the same thing over and over or watch the same thing over and over because it's predictable.
Like
Me too. It's predictable and you know it's safe and you know what's coming. So there's no tension. There's no anxiety. So there is something comforting, but we've got to keep it in balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't recall watching Barney a ton. I don't think I was one of those kids. I'm trying to think what I did watch growing up.
Oh my goodness. This is where our ages, because I was babysitting my cousin when I was 15 and up, and he grew up on Barney. So the only reason I know anything about Barney or Blue's Clues, or there's another show, I can't remember, something about the comfy couch, something.
Oh yeah.
He watched all of those, and that's the only reason I know any of those shows. I grew up on Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street.
Yeah, lamb
Loved it.
chops.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I had lamb chops. I remember lamb chops.
That was my cousin. That's another one that because he was watching it, I knew who Lamb Chop was.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Rogers.
We need Mr. Rogers back.
I did a lot of Little House on the Prairie and Three's Company and what was Sanford and Son?
Oh yeah.
All that stuff. Can't have comedy like that these days. Bunch of lawsuits flying at you if you try to do that now.
Seriously, there are some things, some old TV shows, even stuff that I remember watching in the 90s, and it's like, how are we allowed to say that on TV? Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever had a nostalgic moment and thought, oh, I used to be like that?
Yes, that's what I was just saying about I used to be really direct, even more direct than I am now. But I don't know. I look back at me and think that was confidence. Anybody who knew me back then, I don't really know if I want to know the truth because it could have come across to somebody else as, wow, you're I'll say jerk because there's probably other words that people wanted to say. And the thing is, if that's how it came across, that was never what I intended. That's not what I set out to do. But so I wonder, I look at it as, oh yeah, I used to be confident in what I wanted to say. Don't know what it felt like on the other end.
In sunshine? Confidence in sunshine?
Huh?
I have confidence in rain. Oh my gosh, such a good song. Such a good movie. All right. We'll be past it. I think one of the things for me, and I feel like I mentioned this in one of the earlier on episodes, I did a lot of crafting growing up, right? I made my little agenda books and stickers and notebooks and other little books. And then I stopped for several years. And at the moment, I obviously didn't know that would be the last time I would do something artsy, right? And that life would just end up going how it was and was really dark for me. And to now where I'm getting time to do that. But I remember I started having a lot of reminders of things, right? And I was like, oh, I used to do that. I used to do all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I really liked it. I kind of want to do it again. And so all these, I used to. And so I was like, what are we doing here? Where is this coming from? Why did I stop? Oh, I kind of know now. And so then it's like, all right, now I do get to spend a ton more time, a ton of arts and crafts that I did over the weekend. And I was super exhausted, but I had such a great time putting it together. And then seeing that it looked normal and just cool decor. I love that stuff. And so being able to channel that part of me that used to exist now back is just so fulfilling. It's like coming around full circle.
There were a couple of friends of mine and we would make up dances to our favorite song. It was like full on choreography, and our poor parents and siblings, we would make them sit there and watch us do our little routine. I cannot tell you how many we did like that. And when I was, what was it, 4th through 8th grade, I took ballet and did pointe and loved it. I used to love dancing. And now, go to a wedding, go to whatever, I don't dance.
Oh no!
I know, but no one
you
ever
can dance if you want to.
Thank you. I'll take that into consideration. You don't want to sing the song for me?
You can leave your friends behind. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's fun because this is what John and I do. John will say something and all of a sudden, my life is a musical. But nobody directly was critical of me with dancing, but I remember hearing, and not just specifically with dancing, there were other things that I either wanted to do and never tried, or did like doing and then stopped. But I would hear comments that people would make about other people, and if they didn't do something well, or if that was silly, or that looked stupid, or they're not good at that. And I just remember feeling like I don't want someone to say those things about me. And so rather than continuing to do it because I liked it, on the off chance that somebody was going to be critical toward me, I just stopped doing it or never even attempted to try whatever the thing was. And that makes me really sad for younger me. Yeah. That I missed out on a lot of fun things.
Yeah.
And there's still something in there because John loves to dance. He would love to dance at weddings. And I'm always like, yeah, I guess. Okay. And I feel very self-conscious. And nobody cares. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody's going, oh my gosh, did you see poor John? What a terrible dancer his wife is. No one cares. You know why? Because they're all out there having fun dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one that's going, oh my gosh, do I look stupid? No one cares.
Yeah.
But I know that, but I can't get past it.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
I had a lot of that for a lot of things. I don't really know when that kind of stopped. I feel like a lot more in the last year, I've just been like, whatever. Got nothing else to lose. Might as well try to do something that you enjoy doing and that you like. And you can't get better at something if you don't start.
Yep.
But no, I held myself back from a lot of things too. I remember I was really good at basketball and I was really scared that I was really good. We were like on an undefeated team, and it wasn't because of me. So hang on, like it's a team, right? But comparing me to, I'm on this team that's undefeated. I'm a starter, and it would make me so nervous.
I like that you're like, you sound shocked at yourself.
I am. And I was like so nervous about it. And I got so in my head about it that I would purposely mess things up to not.
You would purposely mess up?
Yeah. I remember one time it was during one game. I always do this to myself. It's always in my head. And I intercepted a ball, and it was like towards the end of the game. I'm like dribbling back. There's nobody there. I have nothing but time to make a layup. And I panicked because I'm like, who can I just throw it to, right? And then I just didn't know what to do. And then I tripped over nothing, actually. And I fell down. And my coach, I just looked at my coach. I was like, just pull me out. Just pull me out. And so he's, okay. So he pulls me out. But I was just like, I just felt so dumb. what am I doing? And at the time I was just like, I really just didn't want any of the attention. That's what it all came down to, because then if you're doing great, people are like, oh my gosh, and everybody floods you and you're so amazing and this and that. And these are not things that I was used to hearing on a regular basis or in abundance. And so it just would make me really uncomfortable. And I didn't want to try things, because then if I fail, what are they going to say? Because I would hear those same comments. I'm already hearing comments elsewhere in my life. Like, I don't even want to try. I don't know how we got to this conversation, but yeah, I remember, but I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Singing is another thing that I used to love doing when I was a kid. My brother and I, that's how we passed the time on road trips. We would sing all kinds of songs, play games. And I remember singing at church, and there was like a little choir that our organist started, and the school choir. And then there was I don't know when it was, I don't know what age, stopped singing. Not even just when I was by myself. I would just not sing at all. Oh. And then it started to switch a little bit when nobody else was around. I would play my piano. I would sing along, but I would make sure I sang softly in case anybody could hear me. And now I still feel self-conscious, because same thing. I would hear, I was never directly criticized for it, but I remember hearing if somebody wasn't a good singer, why are they singing? If they don't sound good, why are they? And I didn't want that to be directed at me. And now I am getting more comfortable with just singing because I just like it. And I just want to. Yeah. I'm not going to go join a band or be on the worship team at church, but I'm doing it now just because I want to. And I don't really care if somebody thinks I don't sound good, because I'm not singing for you. I'm singing for me.
Yeah.
Or for God.
There's a lot of power in that. And that's usually how people end up being successful in whatever that is for them. I was talking to somebody last night, and I was sharing about I love doing arts and crafts and stuff. And he was sharing how, his wife does. Also, she's super artsy, and it's what she does for a living. And this is her website for us to connect. And I was like, oh, cool. He's, yeah, do you paint? I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm not good, but I just really love doing it. So he was laughing, right? And I'm like, but that's how it needs to be. I don't need to be a $3 million painting. I'm just having a good time with my great value brand acrylic paint and my paint brushes that are probably falling apart, probably some official artist's nightmare that I have. But man, I'm having the best time. I'm out here like doing what I'm doing on my little canvas.
But that's the thing that's why nostalgia is so fun, because if we look back when you were a little kid and you were doing all your little things, you weren't worried about, is somebody else going to approve of this little book that I've made? No, you were doing it because it was fun. Yeah. You were doing it because you liked it. Yeah. And then at some point, it switches, and all of a sudden it becomes, what are other people going to think about it? I just want to get back to, I just want to do it because it's fun. Yeah. And I like it. And I don't care if anybody else likes it. Yeah. I just want to do it.
Right. Get back there. Let's get you singing. Let's get you singing for church on stage.
No. I tell people all the time, God gives different gifts to people, and singing is not necessarily the gift that I will then publicly offer, but I will make a joyful noise unto the Lord as much as he wants to hear me.
Which is often, so that's good.
Right. So that's why I do it for me and for him, but nobody else needs to be around. That's fine.
I like being out of that frame of mind for the most part, I'm not completely out of it, and it's also depending on the situation, but of just not caring so much anymore about what, if anything, people are going to say, because they're always going to have something to say no matter what. We had examples of that today. You can have the best intentions about something and be happy about it and laughing, and then someone is out here just ready to pee in your Cheerios. And it's like, all right, it is what it is. There's always going to be something. So don't let them steal your fun. Don't let them, Brooke.
Don't let them pee in my Cheerios.
Don't let them pee in your Cheerios. That's a t-shirt. Don't let them pee in your Cheerios. Denise Salations.
That's what it needs to say, too. Mm-hmm. Denise Salations. 2 verse 4.
When I start saying that I used to a lot, I attribute that to be like, that's when my check engine light comes on. Let's pay attention to that. Something is off here. Saying it one time, like in a conversation or something, sure. But if we're having like a half-hour conversation on all this, maybe let's go run the diagnostic on that. Are we okay? Are we sure we're okay?
And that's really how I came around to the name for my coaching practice. God gave me the idea of blueprint, but then the more that he and I talked about it, that's really what that was getting down to is you have this true design of who you are, and then things have happened. And so the way I explain it is if you have an actual blueprint and it's sitting on a table, then things get piled on top of it. There's mail and some old stuff and whatever it is that's getting stacked up on top. And now you can't see the original document anymore. You can't see the original layout and the design. And so it's not that you need to go do something different or be different, but you just need to excavate. You need to clear off the stuff that got piled on top, because somewhere in there is this creative little girl who just liked doing stuff. She's still in there. There's this little girl who really just liked singing, but stuff got piled on top. And
little
so
Brooke's
it's
like, let me out.
right. And so we just need to excavate and get back to this is who we really are, because there are lots of things from our childhood that we just loved doing that are really good indicators of the things that God put in us that are natural giftings and skills. And this is the way he wired us for more than just, you like to be creative because it's fun. I like to sing because it's fun. There's more to how he made us than just it's fun. That's a big piece of it. And that's a very important piece of it. But there's something that he's then asking us to offer to the world. And if we let it stay buried under all this other stuff, then we can't offer it because it's buried. So we got to excavate, got to uncover the blueprint.
Uncover the blueprint. There's your t-shirt. What do we call yours? What is your book? If mine's Denise Elations, what is yours? Proverbs.
Oh no. Sure. People are just going to be like, that's a typo.
Yeah, right.
No, it's not.
Proverbs. 1, 2.
So recently I've been very aware of rewatching a certain TV show. I've rewatched this entire series. I've lost count.
Friends.
That has been one. That's not the current one.
Okay.
But very similar. I can pretty much mute and do all the lines of dialogue for Friends, and it's Downton Abbey. And I have rewatched both series. Just as soon as the series ends, I just start right back over. And it's not even that I sit necessarily and watch them, but it's just sort of
the background noise.
Yes. And for the most part, it's been pretty harmless. But recently, I've realized that it has gone from not a problem to slightly unhealthy. And I can feel if I stay doing this, it's going to go more than just slightly unhealthy. Because it's repetition, I know what happens, there's conflict, but everybody gets their bow at the end of the story. Everything works out, everything's good. Everybody has their happy ending. I'm escaping from the actual things I need to pay attention to in my life. And I'm like mentally living in their stories because I know what happens and everything works out well. And I don't know if everything's going to work out the way I want it to in my life. And I don't want to think about this conflict and I don't want to face this problem. And so I'll just put that on the back burner. So I tell myself, but really I'm just ignoring a lot. And I'll just go live in Downton Abbey where there's servants and there's these fun dresses. And
they are fun dresses.
They are. They're gorgeous. But if I'm noticing that this is not just comfort noise in the background, but I can tell I'm trying to escape from real life and I'm going to this thing to try to make me feel better. Yeesh. And that might sound like, well, that's not a big deal. That's entertainment. That's why we read books. That's why we watch movies. Yes, but I can tell it's shifted into a different gear. And so what can really start to happen, and I'm not making a conscious decision to do this, but I know me well enough to know that when I start to tell that it's shifting into a different gear, what I'm actually doing is going to these different things for comfort, to make me feel better, to give me answers to things that Downton Abbey and Friends cannot give me answers to. They cannot actually truly bring comfort. And so I have to go to God. I have to ask him the questions. He's the source of all of these things. But again, it's not a conscious decision. I'm not saying, God, I don't want to talk to you. I want to go hang out with, John calls them my friends. Which friends did you spend time with recently? Your friends in New York? Your friends in England? Your friends at...
Oh, that's cute.
But that's an indication of, oh, this is more than just entertainment. This is someone that I now feel connected to. This, you know what I mean? It can start to go a little too far. And so I've noticed, and so I kind of have to pull back a little bit, because anytime I go to something, even I can't even go to John to be the source of happiness and comfort and security. There's a little bit of that in connection with other people. But when I'm going to something other than God, ultimately for those things, it's going to go sideways. And so I got to reassess, because I'm trying to escape and find comfort in a TV show.
Mine is the Golden Girls.
Oh, I love the Golden Girls.
It's my background noise. It's either that or Schitt's Creek, but I don't really have a ton of background noise for anything these days, but there is that, the little escapes.
Yeah. And every once in a while, like I said, that's why we watch movies. That's why we read books. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you can tell it's starting to shift a little bit, then it's, what's going on there? It's the check engine light. What am I actually doing here? What is this indicating deeper inside that something's not okay? So yeah, I have to say goodbye to my friends in Downton Abbey for a little bit. They'll still be there. I'll get to hang out with them again.
Bye, friends, but only for a little bit. We'll be right back. Just gonna have some conversations real quick. What if nostalgia isn't random? What if God's getting our attention for how we used to be, how we were meant to be?
Yeah, it's like it can, I think, as with everything else, there's healthy versions of this, there's unhealthy versions. There's God's going to use this to get our attention, and the enemy knows stuff about us too, so he's going to use stuff to wreak havoc. And yeah, we can't just lump it all into one category. We stay curious, ask questions.
I like reconnecting, because you can forget a lot of things along the way. Like we were talking about, all the things you pile on, then you have to excavate. It's a nice reminder. I used to be good at this.
Yeah.
I used to kind of have some talents.
I saw an ad recently. It was on social media, and it was so clever in a really not great way, because the way they presented the ad was like, here's some information that would really be beneficial for you. And I purposely didn't look to see who the original poster was, because I wanted to just read with no other context. And it was about eating ice cream, and how eating ice cream is not just a food craving, but it's like what we were talking about. This, it can take you back to a time when things felt simpler. It can actually be beneficial. It can be really good for you, not necessarily your physical health, but
like mental health.
Yes. And it was even saying that eating cold food calms you down and kind of regulates your nervous system again. And because I love ice cream, and I could eat it every day. I almost do eat it every day, but again, that's not very good for my physical health. So I'm trying to be a little bit better about that. But everything sounded legit. It all sounded, they had all the mental health words in there. And so it wasn't overtly unhealthy, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, who wrote this? It was a dairy, like a creamery.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. And I was like, of course you did. And listen, nothing against this place. I'm all about eating ice cream. And you want to tell me ice cream is good for my mental health? Absolutely. I'm on board. But at the same time, I was like, because they tied it to childhood, and it takes you back to when things were peaceful and when things were good, when you had no worries, and it helps currently with your mental. And I was like, oh, that's tricky.
Yeah.
Because some of that is true. And some of that, I don't know how true that actually is.
I know that I'll be eating ice cream today. So thanks for that. Another Proverbs.
My pleasure.
It's a love, not even a love-hate. It's like it's a love-love situation with nostalgia. the music, the food, the people, and not even the same people from then are in my life today. Yeah. And for whatever reasons ended up happening. But there's always there's a fondness to it, and it helps bring me back to who I used to be. So I feel like for me, for the most part, it tends to be a good thing because I lost so much of myself along the way. Mm-hmm. So I'll get little things like boxing has been huge on me lately. I boxed for years a long time ago. And so now I'm like, I kind of want to do it again. And so it's on my list.
There was a boxing gym in Ashburn. Is it still there?
Yeah, there's different ones now. The one that I went to doesn't exist anymore, but there's, I think, Title Boxing is one. And then there's some other one like nearby here that I didn't even know about until recently. It's in a shopping center over here. Maybe something worth looking into more. But those are like the nice triggering words. When I started thinking about that, I was like, used to. I'm like, yeah, you know what? And I kind of miss that. Kind of want to do it again.
For the most part, nostalgia is a positive thing for me too. It's like I said, though, whenever I can tell these little pieces of it are not great, then I just shift for a little bit, and then I find that I can go back and it not be. I can just watch the TV show. It's not my lifeline for making sure everything's okay in my life. Right. It's just entertainment. As with all things, it can be good. All good things get distorted, and so we just gotta bring it back.
I only recently learned that people who rewatch the same show is for that because there's no anxiety because you already know the outcome and it's like a safe zone. And I was like, oh man, is that why? That tracks. It makes sense.
Yeah. Just about every summer I reread the Anne of Green Gables series because I want something light and fun and easy to read in the summer. And I know all the details. I know everything that happens in that series. And it takes me back to childhood because I first started reading it when I was in 6th grade. And it reminds me of the friend who introduced me to the series. There's all kinds of fun reasons for it. But yeah, it's because I'm not going to be surprised. There's not going to be anything that's, now I have to play this scene over and over in my head. No, it's safe. It's lovely. It's predictable. I know what happens.
Predictable.
Yeah.
I also think about like relationships. Like you can think back on old relationships and maybe that they were better than they actually were. And so then you romanticize that and then it ends up affecting future for whatever else you're moving into, which would be great for another episode on a different day to unpack that one.
I was going to say, now it sounds like we're talking.
Yeah.
So on that note.
So yeah, I guess we'll start writing that episode.
So hey, let us know some of the things from your younger days that you love, and because that'll be fun to hear about what brings you joy from when you were a little kid or things that you're rediscovering. Yeah, that'd be fun times.
Yeah. What your favorite candy was. Now I'm thinking about that movie 13 Going on 30.
Oh yeah.
Oh, with Maddie. Anyway. Yeah, let us know what your nostalgia looked like. I would love to hear it and love to know about it. But until next time, I'm Denise Acosta.
I'm Brooke Ackerman.
And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye. If you want to find out more information about Misfit of Creation, which is a soul food ministry, you can find me on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also find me on Etsy if you want to get some downloadable Bible studies or devotionals, and that's misfitofcreation.etsy.com. You can also find me on Patreon if you'd like to be a monthly supporter and using the same handle, Misfit of Creation. And I have an online Facebook community group that you can join, and you can find out about all the local events happening that I'd love for you to be a part of with me.
If you'd like more information about my coaching practice or read some helpful blogs or even schedule an appointment with me, you can visit blueprintheartandmind.com. And you can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
But wait, there's more.
Think I get it now, I need to be myself because a copycat can only do so well. In love with everything that makes me who I am. Don't need a backup plan, I hope they understand that I'm doing better today. I got me a mission, I got some fruition, you down to stay out the way. Can't seek validation from people who hating, I got my mentality straight. Shout out to God, I've been keeping the first, he been working and paving the way. And now I can guarantee you that's the way to live. Way to live, promise that's the way to live. Way to live, promise that's the way to live.
2 minutos.
I count on Sesame Street. Two minutos.
Who's your favorite vampire? We heard that, and it's the count. It's no,
he doesn't count.
Yet.
No, I assure you, he does. Yeah, I think it's hilarious. It's punny and nostalgic.